What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be starting something a little bit different. I'm going to be building a sled hauling rig for my one buddy. So what we're going to be doing is using this 2008 Duramax and taking the body off it and putting the body of this 2010 or maybe 8 6 liter, because the body is pretty shot on this truck. And what we want to build is it's just going to be an extended cab with I think about a 7-foot deck for hauling sleds, and then should be able to get 2 to 3 sleds on there. Plus, and then you can pull his 5th wheel trailer to haul all his sleds around. So once you get to the mountain, you can unhook the trailer, load the sleds up onto the deck, and then if you want to drive up the mountain or drive around town with the sleds on the deck, you can do that. But the body is really shot on this truck. The driveline's good, and it was just a farm truck. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have to probably take the whole dash and everything out of this truck, just because I think some of the wiring on this is different on the 6 liter than the Duramax. But probably the easiest thing to do is just take this dash out of here and put it into this truck, and then obviously all the other guts. But the seats and the interior on this truck is in way better shape, so we'll use pretty much everything out of here, like the door panels and the dash cover and all that stuff out of this truck, but just take the guts out of that truck. So underneath the dash, the rad support I think is the same, so hopefully I can just lift the cab off with the front structure and everything on one big piece, and then pretty much just put these cabs side by side, swap everything over, and then just put it back down onto this frame. But I will have to move the rear cab mounts forward, I think. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Hopefully, I did measure, I think the front two are the same and the rad support one is the same. So hopefully I can just set the cab on there and then just line up the rear cab mounts and weld them on into place. But everything else should be the same, I'm pretty sure. So probably what I'm gonna start doing here now is when I get this truck up on the hoist here, I like to get this cab off first and then just get everything out of the way, and probably just got the wiring harness and everything out of this cab, because I think everything back should be the same, but this truck is in kind of rough shape and the interior is pretty beat up, so I'm gonna probably use everything out of the other truck. So, but anyways, let's get this thing up on the hoist and we'll start pulling this thing apart. Alrighty, so I got the extended cab onto the Duramax chassis here. So it's just kind of sitting there. I wanted to make sure all the front 2 cab mounts lined up and the radiator support and everything lined up. And then I'm gonna just move this rear cab mount here, so this one's gonna have to go forward and go into the back of that cab. That's why I have that arm just holding it up and make sure it's in the right spot there, but it looks pretty hilarious with the box on here. Obviously it's not gonna stay this way, but if you can see kind of the idea of what I'm trying to do here is put a 7-foot flat deck on this truck with some extendable sides, and then just have a little bit more room. The sleds will fit on there perfect, and then you can pull the fifth wheel, or the gooseneck trailer with this thing too. So I still need to pull this thing off. I'm gonna have to change all this wiring over still, but for the most part I got everything kind of swapped over here. And I don't think I have to change the radiator support. This one for some reason is kind of rusty, but so I might take that one off of that truck because it's not rusty at all. But we'll see if it'll just come right. I think I just take the 6 bolts out and that just comes right out of there. But for the most part, everything else is the same. Like I can probably just reuse the master cylinder. I'm gonna have to pull these wiring harnesses out, and obviously need to take the whole dash and everything out of that truck and put it into this truck. So I'll still have a little bit of work to do, but at least I can kind of see and make sure everything lines up before I get too carried away doing stuff. But yeah, look at that. It looks so hilarious. Oh god. But anyways, this is the old cab off it, and guess I'll start stripping everything out of here. And I pretty much just need the harness out of the dash, so I'm not exactly sure how far I have to pull it. I think I'll have to pull, well, I'll probably just take the whole dash assembly, and then I think there's a harness that goes behind the dash, and that's the one I need to change too. But I'm not sure how far they come out, because sometimes the harness comes all the way down here. But worst case, I might just have to actually splice these right here, because there should just be a few wires going to the back, but I'm not too sure yet. So I guess we'll start pulling these interiors apart. Probably pull this one apart first, and then I can see exactly what I need to do. But it's looking like this is gonna work. So obviously I'm not gonna leave the box on there. I just put it back on there just so I can drive it around once I get it all back together and have some taillights and everything. But yeah, it should work. I'm about I'll have to look. I think I'm like 8 hours into it or so. So I'm not got a ton of hours time into it. Let's see, I'm just trying to record to see how long it would take me to do this whole entire thing. Yeah, about 8 hours to pull these apart and kind of swap everything over. But I'm gonna probably be another 10 hours of just swapping wiring harnesses and odds and ends and putting this one back together. So, but anyways, let's start pulling these dashes out here, and we'll see how far I need to go with the harnesses to make this all work. Okay, so I did get the dash out of here, and the harness is actually looking pretty good on these. So for the most part, they just plug in right here, and then I just took pretty much the body control module and all the wiring out of this side. So I think this wiring should be the same on that 6-liter cab, and obviously I'm gonna have to check. I think it's just this one harness that might be different. And this is also the pedal harness. So I guess I'll just double check the like the numbers and all that stuff on the wiring harnesses when I get that dash out of that 6-liter there. But for the most part, it came out not too bad. I did take the HVAC unit out. I'm not sure if I'm gonna, because these ones are separate. The new trucks, it's all one piece, but I'll show you here on these ones, the HVAC and the dash assembly is separate. So I just pulled it out. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use this one or just use the one that's in that truck, because that one actually has quite a bit lower K. But for the most part, this is what I need: all the body control module and the dash, and pretty much just this harness assembly here. I just need to stick it into that truck to make everything work. But for the most part, I didn't really have to take any other plastics off. Just there's 2 bolts here that go right to the cab, and then these just one that holds this plastic on here, and 2 bolts on the side there, and it pretty much just came right out of there, so it wasn't too bad. So I just moved this cab off the hoist here, and I'm just gonna start pulling this dash out of here. So now that I did once, it should be pretty quick, because I've never pulled a dash out of this style before. So it should be pretty quick now that I've done it already once. And then for everything on the front here, I already swapped over a couple things like this wiring harness and everything. So there's really not too much else to swap over. So I got a new windshield for this, so I'm gonna pull the windshield out first, and I'll just make it a little bit easier for doing everything else. But besides that, I can pretty much start swapping this dash out. We'll get this one pulled out, and then I'll just assess like the HVAC and see which one I'm gonna use there. So. Okay, so I got the dash pulled out of this truck now, and now that I took one out, this one came out super easy, and really not too much to take these out anyways. But the HVAC units actually stay in on these old trucks. On the newer ones it actually comes with it, but this one's in a lot better shape, and all the part numbers on all this stuff and the brake pedal and everything, like all these harnesses and stuff, are all the same as what's in that Duramax. So I pretty much just got to pull or put this the dash out of the Duramax into this truck, and just because like the body harness and all of that stuff is going to be different rates, so and all the connectors that go to the stuff on the motor. But besides that, everything else is identical, and it should just plug right up there. So I guess I'll just grab this thing. I think I'm all ready to put it right back in. Alright, so I got the cab back onto the Duramax chassis here, and everything underneath is pretty much bolted up, except for I haven't changed this rear cab mount or moved it forward yet, but I'll do that here in a bit. I'm probably going to finish up most of the dash and everything else first, but for the most part I just need to hook up a few wires and it's all bolted back in there, and the steering and everything's hooked up, so that's pretty darn close inside there. There was actually one harness. It was the brake pedal harness. The brake pedal and all that stuff was the same, but the plug up here for some reason was different, so I just had to change that one harness out, but everything else matched up. And then underneath the hood, we're pretty much ready to start putting all the harness and wiring all back together, hook up the power steering and stuff. But I'm going to change out these power steering lines, just because these ones are they're kind of leaky, and same with these transmission lines. So I'll probably just change these out. I have some ordered, they'll be here tomorrow, and then I can pretty much wrap that all up. I mean, it's just a matter of putting that all back together. And then, yeah, pretty much that'll be, I mean, there's still a little bit of work to do, but I should be able to drive here pretty soon, probably tomorrow, hopefully. And I did throw in a fresh new windshield too, but all the lines should be in here tomorrow. So I'm just gonna tinker on a few things here tonight, and then I ended up put the cab back onto the 6-liter chassis here off the Duramax, and just kind of sit on it. But obviously it's too long, so it's sitting on the box mounts. But I mean, if you were to cut the back box mounts off, you could make this into like a super short box, is what I kind of want to do with the guy that I'm doing this is for. He has a 06 LBZ. It's a crew cab or an extended cab short box, but we have a crew cab for it, and a 5.5 foot short box off a half ton. So we may do that. There might be a future video on that. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how this thing turns out. But anyways, I'll catch you tomorrow, and we'll install them lines and hopefully get this thing running and see if it all works, I guess. so I think I got it mostly all together here, and I think I'm pretty much ready to start it up. So I got all the fluids pretty much topped up. I also got to top up like the coolant and the power steering once I started up, but I think we're still ready to start firing it up here. I haven't put in the new shifter cable, or there's this one body control module plug that won't plug in for some reason, but I will deal with that in a bit. I just want to see if this thing will actually fire up and if I hooked up everything right, but should have power and everything. Everything lights up. So I did prime the fuel filter on here, so hopefully it'll fire it up. Oh yeah, there we go. The service airbag though, just weird. Oh, maybe they went away. Nice. Now I can't really move. I guess I can just grab that shifter cable. I just can't get this door open, but I guess now that the fuel cell was apart, so that's why I just fired right up. But sounds pretty good. I just pull it ahead here, and then I can hook up the last little few things, and then I think tomorrow. It's kind of late out now, but tomorrow I'll probably take it for a test drive. And I haven't moved these rear cab mounts yet, but I might actually take it to the farm, and I got a better welder there, and they can weld them up there. It's probably fine to drive like that with just a couple cab mounts, but I'll just move this thing ahead and put the last few things up and see if I can figure out that body control module wire. I'm not really sure why the one doesn't plug in. Everything seems to work, so I'm not really sure what it's for. But I'll have to go look at the other. Alright, it's the next day here, and I got it outside running and driving around. I haven't really taken on the road or anything yet, but it does drive okay around the yard. I still need to throw the wheel aligners in there, but for the most part, should be good. I got the interior all back together, and that one plug, body control module plug that I was missing, it actually plugged in. I must have been doing something wrong when I had it in the shop there, but I just need to throw a couple of these covers on, and then there will be a few little lights I got to take care of. Hopefully nothing too minor or too major there, but for the most part it's pretty darn close. I will probably make a video on once we get the flat deck and everything done on it, but I think that's gonna be a wrap for this video. So was it worth it to put an extended cab onto a crew cab? Probably pretty debatable. We'll see how this thing turns out once I get it all completed. Look how rusty this is. And hopefully it'll be a pretty sweet sledding hauling rig. So it looks for some reason really long, and this one looks really short, but that's just how much different it is, I guess, to a crew cab. But anyways, thanks for watching, and tune in for the next one. Peace.